this evening is 576.20. It's roll call. Mr. Neal, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Dr. Weaver.
I am here.
Ms. Hines. No answer. Myself, I am here. Mr. Buckaloo.
Present.
Present. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. That's Melody. She's on. Mrs. Medell.
I'm here.
Mrs. Walker.
Present.
And Mr. Cox.
Present.
Okay, all present.
Next item on our agenda, ladies and gentlemen, is 577.20, which is citizens' comments. This is a portion of the meeting reserved to allow citizens who would like to address the board an opportunity to do that on agenda items only. So anyone that wishes to address the board on items that appear on this evening's agenda can do so now. If you raise your hand, the moderator will note it and bring it to our attention. Is there anybody wishing to address the board? Okay, I received notice from the moderator that no one wishes to address the board. We're going to jump to the next item on tonight's agenda, 578.20, which is the superintendent selection process. This is selection of the superintendent of the Wayne Westland Community School District, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Silveri with some introducing comments. John?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Happy to be here with you. So it's been a long road. This is a culmination of a long process, and I'll just take a couple of minutes to review kind of what we've gone through so we can all appreciate it, and those listening in can understand and appreciate it as well. So believe it or not, we really began way back in December when you first enlisted the services of Michigan Leadership Institute to assist you with the search. We had our first planning meeting way back in January. And at that same time, we met, as you recall, with various stakeholder groups, got a lot of feedback, a lot of input that helped us to develop the candidate profile that really was kind of that snapshot of what would the ideal candidate for Wayne Westland schools look like. We posted the position. It was up in January and February. We accepted applications all throughout. We met then as a board in February, where you had a chance to screen all of the applicants and select those candidates that you wished to interview. At that time, you selected 4. We conducted initial interviews in the first week of March. We're scheduled the following week to conduct our second round interviews, but that was when, unfortunately, the schools were shut down due to COVID-19, so we had a pause for a bit. But we resumed the process virtually in this manner through Zoom on April 21st, brought our 2 finalists back and conducted second round interviews with those gentlemen. We weren't able to engage the community and stakeholders in the way that we had intended to at that time, where we would have had face-to-face meetings, but the good news is that we had far more participation in the virtual interviews than we would have and had previously for the on-site interviews. So we had a lot of public participation, had a lot of public feedback. So I'm confident that through that, we got what we really needed to make the decision. So just to review, you had the opportunity then to during this time since those second interviews, review all of the feedback that you've gotten throughout the process from stakeholders. You had the chance to go back and review again the candidate applications, the resumes, the cover letters that you received initially, all of the additional materials that all of the candidates presented to you, the interview notes from your 2 interviews with those candidates, and the reference summaries that were provided as well. So you had really a lot of data to consider and a lot to deliberate on as you made this very important decision. So I feel confident that you've done your due diligence. You have completed a very thorough, very deliberate process, and you're well prepared at this point to make this final decision. So having said all of that, really it's up to the board at this point to for someone to make a motion and set the process in place. So for that, I'll turn it back over to President Cox.
Thank you, John. As John said, the time is to make a motion. Mrs. Walker, I see your hand is raised.
Yes.
Does the chair hear a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we offer Mr. John Dignan the position of superintendent for Wayne Westland.
I support.
So there's a motion by Mrs. Walker to extend an invitation to Mr. John Dignan, supported by Ms. Hines. Is there discussion?
Yes, please.
Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes. So we've had the pleasure of interviewing in this second round 2 outstanding professional educators. It's been a pleasure. Both have skills, they have experience, and a disposition, I believe, to become highly successful school superintendents. What it boils down to, in my estimation, is which candidate, given our current circumstances, is the best fit for Wayne Westland. I'm convinced that Mr. Dignan is the best choice for our district at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Buckaloo. Other members of the board that would like to make a comment? Seeing none, Mrs. Madell?
Sorry, it didn't pop up right away. When I sat there and I listened to the candidates, I was looking for the one who was the most well-rounded and could address all of the areas that are involved in the job of a superintendent in a school district. I was very impressed by both candidates, and I'm pretty sure that we will make a very wise decision that will be the best thing for our district going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Carol. Any other members of the board wish to comment on the
I
motion?
have one thing too, due to this new
Ms. Hines?
due to the new COVID situation, I'm really impressed about like the plans moving forward of, education is going to be a little bit different. So what type of plans do we have to figure out the way to get through this situation? So I was pretty impressed by like the interviews to figure out which direction will be best for the district. So I was quite impressed the way the process was with the candidates, but I felt stronger with Mr. John Dingle.
Okay, thank you very much, Melody. And other members of the board?
Yes,
Dr. Weaver?
yes. I started this adventure really looking at what could happen with the other candidate, but it just became apparent to me that Mr. Dignan was ready for the job right now. And so I will be voting for Mr. Dignan tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Weaver. Anybody else? Mr. Neal, call the roll, please. The motion is to extend an offer of employment to Mr. John Dignan, and motion was supported. Please call the vote.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Hines,
Yes.
Dr. Weaver,
Yes,
Mrs. Madell,
Yes,
Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes,
myself also yes, and President Cox.
And I also vote yes.
You have a unanimous vote, 7-4.
The next item on our agenda are citizens' comments on non-agenda items. 579.20. If the moderator could advise me if there are any citizens that would like to address the Board of Education on items not appearing on tonight's agenda. She's currently looking. Mr. Griffin. Mr. Griffin, you're going to have to turn your microphone on in order to join the meeting. Cheryl, Mr. Griffin wants to turn his microphone on.
I'm not sure I know how to do that.
You're all
Can you-
set. You're on. And
I'm
the
on.
chair we recognize Mr. Griffin. Now, this is your opportunity to address the board on items that are not on tonight's agenda. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I understand. Can all the board members hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we
Okay,
can.
thank you. I just want to make a short statement that, it's been a really a year of making tough decisions, and I think this board has handled it with grace and dignity, and I believe that we got a positive approach ahead of us, and for that I thank the board members. I believe that the future is really going to be great for the Wayne Westland School District, and I, as a member of the community, appreciate your effort, And I wish you well in the future, and I wish the new superintendent well. Thank you very much, Mr. Kai.
You're very welcome, Mr. Griffin. Will the moderator tell me, are there others that would like to address the board? Okay, we have nobody else wishing to address the board. What I'm going to do is move to the next item on the agenda, which is review and recommendations of the members of the Board of Education. But first, I'd like to tell you, as you know, in times like this, the president of the board is charged with calling the successful candidate and letting them know how the vote went tonight. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to do that right during this meeting. I'm going to wait until it's my turn to talk under review and recommendations of the members of the Board of Education. And then following my conversation with Mr. Dignan, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn and we'll be done. So beginning with Mr. Neal, review and recommendations, members of the Board of Education. Mr. Neal.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm especially pleased at both Shauna and Melody's motion and support for Mr. Dignan. Much like the comments given by Mrs. Medell and Mr. Buckaloo, I find that Mr. Dignan is a superior candidate. I was very impressed with the ease at which he handled all situations that we posed to him. And not only that, but the comments that we got from those people who did attend our meetings and those who listened in when we had a virtual meeting were very impressive. We got a lot of comments about Mr. Dignan and all in a very positive way. I'm very happy that we've selected him for our next superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Mrs. Medell?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Mr. Silveri. He has done a very good job in helping guide us through this process and has acted in a very professional manner in bringing us some great candidates. And I'd like to thank all of those candidates who did apply. It was a very tough decision because we had a lot of super qualified people, but I think Mr. Dignan outshone a lot of people. And I think he will be a good fit for our school district if he agrees to come and be our superintendent. And going forward, I look forward to working with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Dr. Weaver?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. It's a whole new day. And I am thankful that we have come together tonight in a 7-0 vote for the candidate that I believe we all felt, as has been shown, was a superior candidate. I believe Mr. Dignan will do a fine job, and I'm looking forward to working with him. I am especially thankful that he wants to take the first 90 days or so just to get to know people. That really impressed me about him. I too want to thank everyone that worked today, passing out the food. I got to be the sign passer outer today, and that was fun, getting with the colleagues and enjoying how much they enjoyed being there. So that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Weaver. Mr. Buckaloo?
Yes, thank you, sir. So we've almost reached the end of what's been a long and a very intensive selection process. Fortunately, we haven't had to go through this process alone. The board's had a great deal of help, and I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to those folks. First to Mr. John Silveri from the Michigan Leadership Institute. He's been an invaluable guide throughout this process with his usual light touch. That's his style. With his usual light touch, he's kept our search focused and at the same time professional. We wouldn't be here tonight without his assistance. I'd also like to thank Interim Superintendent Ms. Jill Simmons. She's been nothing but amazing in leading this district through a difficult and unprecedented crisis. Who'd have thought that the Michigan school year would come to an end 3 months soon? Ms. Simmons took the lead in organizing the distribution of school lunches to our students. She and her staff went through the school district locating PPE items in our various buildings and saw to it that they were donated where they were needed. And she led the effort to create a state-approved program, which has made both distance learning and hard copy learning assignments available to all of our students. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to our stakeholders who took the time to follow the selection process and share with the board their thoughts regarding each of the candidates as they've come forward. Their input has been invaluable to us. So thank you all. And thank you, Mr. Cox.
Thank you, Mr. Buckaloo. Ms. Hines?
Hi, I'd like to also thank John Silveri for his help. I mean, he was awesome when he helped us with our strategic plans and our right sizing. And this was a really awesome opportunity. It was very seamless, no hiccups, very professional. I even got a lot of comments from a lot of the employees. They loved the process. It was very open. And even before I made my decision, I would talk and ask people how they feel about certain situations. And a lot of the employees really, really were impressed with John's interview. So I'd like to thank the stakeholders. I'd like to thank Jill. She did such an awesome job, dealing with this situation, before the other board member said that the school year closing so fast and, getting a plan together with the packets and some digital. Even my son, they have some Zoom classes that they're doing. So that's pretty good that they're trying to keep the kids engaged. So this was a really good process. And I'd like to thank everybody who helped. And congratulations to our new superintendent. And I think it's going to be a wonderful year. And I can really see it being awesome for 2021.
Thank you, Melanie. And Mrs. Walker, as the maker of the motion, I thought I would save your comments for last. I know this isn't your first rodeo. As they say, you've gone through this before. And I just wanted to say publicly that I appreciate the time, the counsel that we spent talking with one another. You opened my eyes on some fronts, and I found it very valuable. And thank you, Shauna.
Thank you, President Cox. I appreciate that. First of all, I want to just take the time to thank Mr. McDonald, the other candidate who took his time to come out and interview with us, the passion that he showed, and the things that he brought to the table. We really appreciate that. The first thing that was really important to me was to make sure that we had a great fit for our family. And, as long as I've been on the board, some of you still call me Cousin Shauna from one of the talks I did. This family is important to me, and it's important that we get someone that's a good fit. And so listening to some of the feedback from our stakeholders, our other family members in the district, which includes our employees, that's my family, I felt that Mr. Dignan would make a great new addition to the family. I think he has a lot to offer. We are looking forward to some uncertain times that's coming up, and we're going to need someone who can stand steadfast and get us through the good times and the bad times. I also want to thank each and every one of my fellow board members. This has been difficult, and trying to adjust to the technology and doing Zoom. I want to thank Jenny and her team and all of our people in the district that helped us to do these meetings and to be able to bring everyone together in this room to do this and go through the process. Thank each and every one of you who showed up for each and every meeting that we had and your input. I just want to say thank you. I really love our Wayne Westland family, and I think we all came together and did an excellent job. And I really think that our next superintendent is going to do some great things in this district. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. And I guess I'd like to say two things to the people watching this meeting. The first thing is my vote for John Dignan wasn't in any way relaxing or settling. I am thrilled with him coming to this school district. I think he's got a fantastic amount to offer us, and he's excited about it. And I think that excitement's going to grow, and I'm very encouraged. But like Mrs. Walker, I certainly appreciate the fact that we had candidates like Mr. McDonald and Mr. Dignan sitting in front of us, both wanting this job. That put us in a very good position. A position which was very thorough from the very beginning. so that everybody knows, in spite of the quarantine challenges and not being able to meet, the board left no stone unturned looking into both of these candidates. It was thorough and more than one entity. So there's no question in my mind that this is an excellent acquisition. And as a couple people have already said, now the job is to call Mr. Dignan. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to put him on speakerphone. Mind you, I have not talked with him up until this point. Here we go. I don't know if you can hear. Can you hear the ring?
Yes.
Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Dignan.
Hey, how are you?
I'm just fine. This is David Cox with the Wayne Westland Board of Education.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Well, we're doing fine. We've had a meeting and we've taken a vote, and we thought you're the first person we should call and tell that the board voted this evening unanimously to offer you the job of superintendent of the Wayne Westland School District, and we're eager to begin our relationship, and we wanted to call you and give you that news.
That is awesome. I'm so ecstatic and eager and excited to get started. I'll be honest, I feel like my heart fell in my shoe a little bit.
Well, the way the meeting went, John, we're just as excited to have you here. And we know that it's a good fit. We know that your energy is a great fit for us. This is an opportunity not only for the school district, but it's an opportunity for you. And the board in its vote tonight, 7-0, has shown you that we're completely supportive of you, looking forward to you being here. Congratulations. It's an exceptional thing to have achieved at this point in your career, but well earned, I believe. And we're very happy about the whole thing, John.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, I'm so appreciative of being selected as superintendent of Wayne Westland Community Schools.
By the way, did I mention to you they're on speakerphone and I'm broadcasting this all over the Zoom meeting?
No, but that's good to know.
Okay.
It's exciting, to say the least, and I can't wait to get started.
Well, and by way of getting started, you can expect a call tomorrow morning from the district's attorney, who is going to begin the process of negotiating the details of this with you. And we've talked with the attorney, and he has his marching orders, and he'll be eager to call you and talk with you in the morning.
Sounds good. Thank you again. I can't thank all of you enough. I'm so excited.
Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Very good. Thanks, sir. Good night. I think he's excited. So that was a nice thing to be able to do after the past year of things we've had to do. Anyway, to mirror what Shauna says, thank you to my colleagues for everything, all of the meetings. I don't even want to count up how many meetings, but thank you so much. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Weaver, support by Mrs. Mandel. Roll call vote, please, Mr. Neal.
Dr. Weaver,
Yes.
Ms. Hines,
Yes.
myself, yes. Mr. Buckaloo,
Yes.
Mrs. Madell,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker,
Yes.
President Cox.
Yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.